Guys, it's Rachel here, and we are back with Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and I am starting to think about putting my book together, even though we haven't. I'm pre-recording this because I might be in Australia, or it might be just before I'm in Australia when Lisa's here when I post this, but I want to start thinking about my construction of my book. Now, I have thought I'm going to do it the accordion style like I did the last time, or will I do it with pages? What I like about the accordion style is when accordion is like when when you fold it like this. Look, just a sec, it's all tangled. I've got a stripper. I'll tell you how I got this strip. So you have one that way, you fold it back onto itself. Okay, and I did that with my last one. What I liked about it was when I put my pages on, I could see a little bit of the fabric, which I liked. So instead of just using a plain white fabric. So I think I'll go with that again. So what I want to do, how did I get this strip? Basically, I just put this on. I'm very, very approximate. I don't care if it's not perfect. I put it on, I put a snip in the fabric, and then I ripped it. So let's hope it's the same width all the way along, because otherwise we might have issues. Okay, just a sec. Now I've got my iron on. Is it hot? I don't know. Does it work? Feels hot. It's not piping hot. This is a little Prym, P-R-Y-M iron. I don't think any steam's coming out, but anyway, I probably need to add water. It's not that hot, but I'm going to use that to iron the creases into my fabric. So I need a little bit to start off with to glue into my book. So it's not going to be straight because the fabric is not straight. So this is just a ticking that I got at the Crafty Op shop in Sydney with my sister. So I wonder what I do is I put my blocks on like so. Put a couple on. I'm going to pin them. Well, I'll pin this one, and then I'm going to iron in a crease. Then I'll pin in my next one, and then I'll iron in another crease. And what I will do is I'm actually going to, with these, I think I'll do a whip stitch, or will I do a running stitch? I could do a running stitch to stitch it onto the page, or a whip. I have to decide. But I need to think, because I can't remember how I did it last time. But anyway, each project is different. Now this is a wonky piece of fabric, which is why I like that I've got a nice fabric underneath. So then what you do, I've ironed my crease there. So here's my book. Okay, I've got to put something here, but I might put it over the top. I don't know. Yes, I might. I don't know. I haven't decided. So that's going to go there, and then that will glue down here. That will glue there. So I could put something under there. I might even just put a lovely old paper down there. I might do that and glue a label on and just write the year, or stitch and glue a stitched label. So then you fold your page back on itself. You've got to line it up. And this is why I've got my iron, because what I like to do is iron the crease in, sort of thing. So, and then it goes back on itself again, and then you get your pages. Now, it'll all become clear in a sec. So let's move the book out of the way. And I don't care, well, I'm not concerned, I shouldn't say I don't care, but I'm not concerned if my, my fabric, I don't want to make my crease too far. So I'm just going to carefully iron along there. I don't want to iron my pins because they'll melt. I just want to get my first creases. All I need are my first creases, and then I'm set. I can just go along and crease the fabric. Okay. Right. So that's my first crease. Let's lay it down. Ignoring the excess flap. That's what we're attaching to the book. So we will need to then, let me just fold that over, just say that's attached to the book. See, I'm very approximate. I don't use a ruler. If it were to grow my, so I'm going to iron that crease in. I know it's all a bit confusing, isn't it? But I'm making an accordion, so I'm folding it on top of itself to get my pages. there. Then I flip it back this way and line it up there. So I'm lining it onto the edge. That's the edge of the first page with the image. This is my second page, my third page, and this will be my fourth page. I'm just going to quickly iron that in. I'll do it better afterwards, I think. And then I'm going to, and I might find that my pages don't fit. So then I'll have to or re-iron it or trim them down. So this is what's going to be stitched into the spine this side here. So I'm just lining that up as best I can. And I'm going to have to attach another piece, which is fine, that's easy. So I'm lining it up. This is my outer edge. So I've left the other one pinned on so I don't get confused as to what is my outer edge and what is the edge that's going into the spine. I'll give that a little iron. Just very slight ironing. It's not, you know, heavy ironing. And then we'll count how many pages I've got, and I probably will have to add another little strip. So I'm lining up those. Give those an iron, and I'm making sure it's straight onto itself. And then when I start pinning, you'll see how it's going to work. It's basically going to be a long strip that's got creases in it, but I haven't ironed them very well at the moment. So here, I'm probably going to need more. I'm going to have to attach another piece there, but let's just flip it over. Well, I can still iron that crease in, can't I? And then we'll flip it over and we'll start attaching pages, and you will see. So that is the spine here, and you'll see what I mean here. This is the spine. That's the spine of my book. Look at this. This is the spine of my book. This is going to glue in here. I'm going to stitch them. I might attach them to, I might make a hard, a cardboard spine to attach them to, and then I'll glue it in. Last time I could stitch into that. I didn't want to stitch into that because I liked it, but anyway, I'll have to have a think about that. Okay, so I'm going to take my cardi off. I'm feeling hot now. It's making me hot. Now I need to grab my pages, the ones that are complete, at least. Not all of them are complete. And we need to do some pinning. So let's put the pages over here. I've got my ring light on because it's the afternoon, so I don't want to. So you can see how we've got pages now. There's a crease there. I need to iron it better. So let's, well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here I know that I need to pin my next page. And it should fit, in theory, because it's a very approximate business. So then I just pin that. So I stitched on, I will stitch on my pages. I could stitch them on so you can't see it. Or I can stitch them on so you can see it. But then I also need to, well, I stitch them down the two sides, down there and down there. And then this, I will stitch them on at the top together, the two pages. So that way I'm not, don't have millions of rows of stitching. But I won't do it until they're all on. Okay, so that's that page, and then we have this page here. And for the moment, they're just going to be pinned. So they start to take, you know, take their position, really. I'm positioning them, seeing what's happening. And see, I've got this page is slightly less than that, and you've got a little overhang, and it looks lovely. And so that's why I chose the ticking, because I knew that it wasn't all going to be covered. I'll pin them better afterwards. I'm just going to make sure I put in my bits. I just want to see how I'm going for pages, because I'm going to need another strip. And I want to show you how you will attach that. That one's overhanging a bit, so I could decide to trim it off, or I could just leave it for the moment. I'll just leave it. I could possibly jiggy it over a little bit more. Okay, this one is not quite complete. I still have to colour in his hair, but I knew that he was a bit smaller. He's actually a bit wider too. I am going to have overhanging bits. So I pin that one in. Put a pin here. I just try not to wiggle it too much because I didn't iron, you know, I didn't use a strong iron to iron my pieces. So this one needs to go right to the edge, and I'm loving that I can see the ticking. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to pin them all in and flip. Okay, pin here. So let's recap. Basically I put a block, probably choose one of your longest blocks. I am going to have bits hanging out of my book, which is fine. I like that. Choose your longest block and put a snip in your fabric and rip along from selvage to selvage. And then put your block on and be a little bit generous in your folding, but not overly generous, of course. And start folding it back, accordion style. I'll grab a piece of paper. Here we are. Let's grab a piece of paper to show you. We're not lacking in paper. We're not lacking in anything. So you leave a little piece to attach to your book, and then you put your fabric bit on there just to get your first crease, pin it, and then get your first crease, and then start folding it back on itself continually, okay? All right, and just go slowly, take it easy, don't freak out, it's not hard. Put that there. That one's going to stitch on there. And I'm starting to run out of pages, so I do know I'll need quite a lot more. Another strip at least. Well, another strip. I might not need all of the strip. And then that, when I stitch that, that's going to be, actually I'll stitch that down before I stitch the 2 pages together. See, they're going to be closed. You could even leave it as a pocket, but it'll be pretty heavy. You don't want to have too much weight. So that's going to be all stitched together. But before I do that, I'm going to stitch that down. That's my tab. It needs to stick out a little bit actually, there, like that. So we could even... No, I want to show you. I'm not going to pin that. Oh, yes, I'm not going to pin that right this second. I need to show you. This one's not finished yet because I am pre-recording this, but I really did feel, I was feeling the urgency. This one's too wide. I might have to trim this one down a little bit, but I was feeling, but it doesn't matter if that lovely edge is hanging out, but I was feeling the urgency of starting to prepare my book because I will need to start stitching my bits on. And so I thought this was it was necessary to get cracking now. See how this page is a bit smaller? I've got the lovely ticking behind, and so it's really a non-issue for me. If I had a white fabric, I'd have to do some fabric collaging. Now here we are to my last bit. This is my last page here. So this is the last one that I can put on, which will go here. And that does blend in a bit with the ticking, but actually I might slide that one up and just have that down there. And then here, I need to attach another piece, and that's when then that piece will go on top, and then the next, and then the next. I've got quite a few more still. So I am going to need another piece, so we'll rip that. And what I might do to rip it is I will just measure it with this one. And I do very bodgy measuring, you'll see. Okay, I just want to show you what it's looking like so far. So that attaches to the book, and we're going to have the same thing at the back. And then here are, that's all going to be stitched. Here are my pages. Look at that. And what I like about it is you don't have any gaps. You have nice folded edge there. It's just you got to get used to it. Oh, that's another page because they're quite thick. So I need to attach another piece there. So I've got my fabric here. I didn't put it away because I knew I might have to. I've got quite a big piece of it, so I don't mind using it for this. So what I'm going to do, I've got to be careful here. I've got my ring light. So, excusez-moi. I'm going to put my fabric here. This is my measuring, guys. This is how bad I am. I can't help myself. And then if it's crooked, I'll probably be annoyed. Now, I just make sure I try and do my snip at 90-degree angle there. Just go through the selvage. And there we go. And then you have the great satisfying job of ripping. And listen to that. I'll do it off camera because I don't want to knock everything over. And I just want to explain to you how I will attach that and then continue on as though nothing happened. So I've got a nice long piece there again. I think that's going to be enough. I do think so. So let's have a look. I don't want all these. These bits annoy me, so I'm going to get rid of all of those. Just find out where they all are. Okay, there's some there, and there will be some more. Okay, so here, that other way. What I'm going to do, I could get rid of that, but I won't bother. I'm just going to overlap it a couple of centimeters, about an inch maybe. Just overlap it. And then pin it, and then I'm going to do a few rows of stitching. That one's pulling. A few rows of stitching. Hopefully it's straight. I'll lay it out properly. Maybe when I'm off camera. I need a bit more space than what I'm working on at the moment. It's crashing into things. But there we go. I will stitch that on there, and then I can continue my accordion folding. You see? Then this one will go on top. Did remove those. That will go on top there. That one, and you'll hardly see the join, and then it will fold back on itself again. It's not attached yet, but I'll just give you the idea, and I'll need to iron it, but I'll do that after. That will fold back on itself like so, and that one will go there, and then the next one will go here, and then I've got another two after that one. Let's see what happens, because I might have to do an extra page. Oh, that'll be tough. I love the colors of this with the ticking, I will say so. All right, here we go. This is the last one that we've done lately, so that will go there. Love it. Needs to go closer, so just plonk it on there and fold that back on it. So that's its page there, and then I'm going to have, I'm going to have an extra one. I have to do an extra page. Oh my wordy lordy. I could just put a favorite fabric and a joyeux Noel in the middle of it. I could do something simple. So my next two prompts are going to go here, and then I'm going to have, I'm not going to cut it like I did last time until I'm done, but my last page will go there, and then I'll cut it here, and that will be, I probably could cut it, that will be my bit that will attach to the book. So that will be all my pages. Look at that. And my book is going to be very, very chunky. It is. Let's see. So if we bring the book over, that's going to glue there, and that is going to glue there. Probably not all of it, just cut a bit like the other one. And then when you close it, oh, it's not too bad. Oh, it's not too bad. It's going to be good. Oh, I haven't got those last two in there though, have I? And it fits okay. It is overflowing a little bit, but it's going to be good. I'm very pleased with it. So yes, that is how I'm going to construct my book. So what you're going to see now, I did fold these on top of each other in the accordion style. I'll repeat it again. And when you can actually, look at this. This is what happens. You pull it out, and they are all literally next to each other. And I'm going to stitch them all on like that, except for that bit and then that bit. And then I need to stitch that around that one. That's the only complex bit there. But look at that. They just pull out. So that's how they are. So I'm now going to leave them in my book like that I will slowly work through. I love it. I do like the accordion style. I learned that by watching Charlotte Lyons from House of Wren, and she just has a little Insta video, and she does wonderful stitcheries, and she sells them. I think she sells them printed onto fabric already, the stitchery, and you just embroider it. But she sells them on Etsy, and so she has lots of those, and she does a lot of stitching, and so she just stitches her little projects into accordion style book, and then she makes a soft cover for them. So yeah, the idea for the hardcover came from Mum. I don't know, we were talking about it the other day. She doesn't know what possessed her. She just asked me one day to come out, I think it was 2016 actually, to come out, and could I put I think she just associated me also with hardcover books, and so she must have had a flash, and she wanted fabric pages in a hardcover book, and I just said to Mum, you are a genius. And then when we were talking about doing the stitching, Sarah's like, why don't we do what Mum's idea and put it in a hardcover book? So we're kind of combining a little bit junk journaling with stitching, slow stitching, embroidery, whatever you want to call it. Well, slow stitching is more all the little bits and pieces and the hand done, and then it's, of course, it does incorporate this is all slow stitching, and then that's more embroidery. So yeah, it kind of is, it's one and the same thing, but slow stitching is like having a think about it as you're stitching. Like as I was stitching here, I'm thinking, what's the next thing to do? So it's being quite mindful about taking it slowly, as opposed to going on a sewing machine and whizzing around without even thinking, sort of thing. See, I've been procrastinating about that one for quite some time, and it's still there. So there we go. So that is it, and then that gets glued in, but I need to decide whether I'm going to stitch it into the cover or stitch it on. I could take a piece of very heavy cardboard and cut that the size that I need for my spine and stitch them to that, and then glue it into my book in it with a hidden spine. I could do that as well, but the fabric is quite heavy, so that's why I'm thinking it might be better to stitch it in here. I can stitch it in maybe with I don't know, I'll choose a color thread, maybe even a dark thread, and so you wouldn't even hardly see it. I could decide to do that, or I could stitch it and then cover that, but I didn't really want to go do that. That's what I did last time. So there we go. I'll just quickly pull out my previous one for those of you who have joined us in this round of the Journal of Stitchery, and you didn't see the first one necessarily. So this was done with in the same way, this one. Let me just move this out of the way. I'm very excited to have done that. It was worrying me. Okay, so I did do a stitch piece to go on there, on the spine of this. I did that in Australia in April, and absolutely love doing that. And I did that. This one is done with the accordion style, so you can see that here. And I did randomly stitch in my signatures. This one's not, but this one, that one's not stitched in. But it worked quite well. I did have trouble centering it, but you don't even notice. So yeah, I did stitch them in. I think I could do that. I could do that again. Oh, I like it. Oh, isn't it a fun place to put your things in? Really, really, really fun. So I'm hoping to get it constructed before I go to Australia, but if I don't, I might have to finish it when I come back, and you'll have to forgive me. But I have explained how to do it, and I did show how to do this one, which is the same method. So I guess it's not the end of the world if I don't get it done. I love it. So I hope you enjoyed that. This won't be posted for quite a while. But anyway, I may decide to add stitching on a few pages actually. I might do that, but I need to stitch down, stitch on that extra piece, and then I might add a bit onto this video, and then I can, schedule it in my YouTube. So I'll be back in a second. Bye. Hi guys, so I'm back. I am going to just stitch maybe one or two. I'll just stitch one on just to show you. But you just pull it out like this, and you just stitch each piece on, and then when you fold it back on itself, like so, I pin them together, and then I'm just going to go over with a stitch. I'm sort of thinking I'm going to, with these, I'm going to stitch them on with a running stitch, I think. Or will I do a whip stitch? I don't know, we'll decide. I thought I would do different colors. So this one I'm going to do red. Not a dark red. I'm going to do red. No, not that red. I need a pinky red. That red would be good around it. So I will use this one. I don't have my mat under me, but that's okay. Just going to be quick. So it's really simple. Just running stitch. Then I'll pause it, I think. Then I'll finish it off, and then I'll stitch the other one. I think I'll use blue around that one, or green. I have to think about it. What needle will I use? This one. I don't think I will. It's just running. No, I'm doing whip stitch, I decided. I think I'll zoom you in a tiny bit, but I don't want to go off screen because it's a big piece. So I'll start along the top here. I'm just going to put little overcast whippy sort of stitches to hold my piece down. If you wanted to, you could also do an invisible stitch, but you'd do it all the way along to make so it's really attached to the page, but I'm just going to do around the edges. So here I'll go right over the edge of the page. And when I join my two pages, I'm just going to use my regular crochet thread that I usually use. So it does go at a different angle when you go through. I'm wrapping around, whereas here I was going through the fabric. It doesn't take too long. I'm actually not going to stitch the two back the pages together and then stitch them together, because I don't want to do that until I've done or stitched all my pages on. Because otherwise I'm just making my life difficult. Be careful. Now I don't have much fabric under there because this is taller, so what I might do is just go through the fabric there. I'm going to put this pin down here. Do want to make sure it's pinned. So, and also one other thing that I recommend that you do when doing this is just stop, readjust to make sure you don't have too much, any puckering sort of thing, that it's laying flat. Then just take the whole lot, put it over there and turn the corner. It can be a little bit awkward to hold, but you can put it down on your mat and just push through like that. Hopefully I'm on screen for this bit. I don't want to pick it up because until I've stitched more down, because I don't want it to sort of, gather or anything like that. So I'll just do it like this. So yeah, if you're going to do that, you need a hard surface underneath, so you can just slide your needle under the two layers. And obviously I can't stitch them all down because there's a couple of them that need to be finished off, which hopefully will be done before I go away. when I come down here, I will be able to hold it up in my hand. I am liking the look of this colour. Okay, I need a new thread. So you get the idea. I think I'll go round. Oh no, I'm not stitching them together, but that you get the idea of how to attach the pages. And then I'll just repeat myself again, just so it sort of soaks in. So that sort of folds back there. This is going to attach to the book. Remember, this is my page. Let's turn it around. So once I've stitched this on, well, I'm going to stitch all of them on. I need to stitch them all on. Then I can start, once they're all stitched on, then you start folding them back on themselves. And what you do is you're just going to do an over stitch like this. Because I've got my decorative stitches and I want to change colours for each one, I have decided just to use this, which will almost be invisible over the edges to hold my pages so that they become one page. And then I do sometimes, I did it last time. I think it's probably a good idea to do, is I did, once they were stitched, I did just do little stitches along here just to hold, otherwise that remains open. Not that it's a problem because you won't see it, it'll be in the spine, but I did stitch them together. So it was completely together. So that should give you a better idea about the sewing together of the book. Unless you're doing signature pages, which is a totally different process. You're just stitching them. Just say these, oh, that's not a good piece of paper, is it? It's ripped. Just say this is your fabric here. Stitch one piece here, one piece on there, one piece on there, one piece on there, and then attach it down the middle. That's quite an easy way to do it too. But I do like the effect, because look, you get the lovely fabric folded on the edge. I do like the effect of the accordion structure. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you so much for watching. And when you're watching this, it means we're getting ready to start our new project. So I will see you again soon. Bye.